Steven, you son of a bitch. You did this.
You did this.
You did this again.
You did this. We need a spark.
This is all for you, pal.
It's for us.
Okay, it's for us.
Hello! We watched the latest Adam Sandler movie on Netflix called Hustle.
There are two reasons we watched it.
Mm-hmm.
One, Steven.
Well, we probably shouldn't say your full name, but...
Steven. And two, it is a very Philly-centric movie.
Yep.
And honestly, you're already middle of the pack if it's a Philly centric movie. At least middle of the pack. I don't care for basketball that much. For those of you who don't know, Hustle is about a basketball scout played by Adam Sandler, who works for the Philadelphia 76ers. Trust the process. Mm-hmm. Although I think the process is well done by now. Yeah. And he discovers this construction worker in Spain that plays basketball really well, so it's just the journey trying to get him into the major leagues. Your typical sports movie plot.
With Adam Sandler.
With Adam Sandler. But instead of the Chicago Cubs or Bulls or any of the LA or New York teams, it's Philly, who doesn't get enough love. My favorite thing about this movie is that Adam Sandler, on multiple occasions, said the Philly sports fans are the worst fans in the world, and that's what makes them the best, because that's what I feel.
Yeah, they're the best, and they're the worst, but that's what makes them
that's
the best.
What makes them
pretty
the
much
best.
What he said.
Yeah, which is so true in my opinion.
Super accurate.
Like Philly fans are so passionate that makes them sometimes not great.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of funny for the most part. I am of the opinion that Philly fans just have harder skin, and we can take jarring or like trash talk a lot better than other teams. Because Philly fans get it pretty hard, and they don't really say anything. And then when we say something, someone goes,
It's because we've heard it all.
Yeah. We're Minnesota Vikings fans.
Oh, no, my Green Bay cheese.
Oh, no.
But yeah, completely. I really wasn't going to watch this, but I know it was filmed at my school, Coatesville.
Yeah, your high school, yeah.
It was filmed at my school, and it wasn't even, I was telling Mike earlier, they didn't even film in the really nice basketball court. They filmed it, there's two buildings that Coatesville has. There's the 9-10 Center and the Cash building. One's for, 9th, 10th grade, and 11 and 12 is the other one. Cash has the really nice basketball court, but there's like there's only one exit way out of there. So I understand why they use the 9-10 Center. It's more open for just leaving and going through and all that.
Yeah.
So it was really cool seeing, my school and being like, I almost broke my ankle on that court. That was fucking crazy.
The funny thing to me is that I expected it to be like one of the shittier courts, just because in our area, Coatesville has a bad reputation for being a not great school. It's not a horrible school. It's still not bad in our area, or a bad school in our area is still better than most schools. Yeah. But to me, it's hilarious that they have such a nice gymnasium and basketball court, because our gymnasium and basketball courts were not that great, but then our school has higher ratings in the actual education.
Coatesville put a lot of their money into their sports.
And not education. But yeah, I really wasn't... I was going to watch this just because it takes place in Philly, and I like movies that take place in Philly because I know references and I know places that they go. Like they play outside of Gino's Cheesesteaks. Yeah. And
I think they're literally at Pat's at one point. Well, they show Pat's.
Yeah, well, they're right across the street from Gino, so that's like the same scene.
Both tourist traps.
And they don't have the best cheesesteak. So if you're there, don't go to Gino's or Pat's. I mean, you can, but go to other places because they're usually better.
Yeah.
It's just nice to get references and know places that they are.
The airport and everything.
The airport. Although one scene, so we're getting so off tangent. One scene that they was the airport was actually Wells Fargo Center, where the Sixers and Philadelphia Flyers play. Yeah. They just used the entryway escalators to be the airport, but it's just the stadium. But yeah, I wasn't really gonna watch this. I wasn't excited to watch it rather until Steven, he said we should watch it, and I was impressed.
I was very impressed as well.
It's one of Adam Sandler's better movies in a long time.
It's definitely the best Netflix Adam Sandler movie to come out.
I mean, that's not hard competition.
His definite best performance since Uncut Gems. But that's the awesome thing about Adam Sandler is he's so passionate about basketball. He really just straight up shows it in this movie as well. I mean, and of course everything we just talked about Philly wise, they captured Philly pretty well in this. And I mean all the love of just basketball, and it didn't feel like anybody didn't love being in this movie at all in a sense, because everybody was just just hyped for the opportunity, I guess. Even Bo Cruz, whose name Juancho, I wanted to see more of him. He didn't really talk that much.
He's actually an NBA player. He plays for the Utah Jazz.
But a lot of characters in this were like players, but they were already actually NBA players in real life.
Yeah, Juancho.
Like a lot of the scouts that Adam Sandler was like going out to see, they were already actually in the NBA, but they played not actual NBA players. They were just being scouted. So that was cool to find out at the end, because I don't watch basketball at all. I don't know players.
I pretty much only know the 76ers, and that's it. And I don't like I love Philly sports, but when it comes to basketball, I'm just a fair weather fan. Like I only care about the Sixers when they're doing well. Otherwise, I don't care. Every other sport, thick and thin, I'm with them. But with basketball, I don't really care. But there's a lot of Sixers basketball players in this, which I really like. The funniest one, he's no longer on the Sixers, but Boban Marjanovic, who is also in John Wick 3. He's the giant that John Wick fights in the library. He plays this very large 22-year-old who has a 12-year-old son. 22-year-old. But yeah, there's a lot of little funny things like that. But for the most part, it's more of a serious movie. Like it's and I was actually surprised. Like again, not huge into basketball, so I had no idea that the guy who plays Bo Cruz, Juancho Hernan Gomez. I did not know he was an NBA player because he was actually relatively good at acting. Like he wasn't amazing.
Yeah, like I actually just straight up wish there was more of him just like straight up acting. Like there's a lot of montage scenes where he's kind of just like throws ball, shoots, all that stuff. I wish he had more out there for like more performance out of him. It would have been really cool.
Like the scenes where he shows emotion were very powerful in my opinion, and it was just very impressed. It's your typical sports movie that has, like, if you're watching a sports movie, there's always going to be some corny scenes. They kind of just come with the territory, but I felt like this had them as little as possible while still moving the plot along. And
I think the biggest, corniest things for me, and this is just every movie, it's not just like this movie in particular, is when there's always those live broadcasters or just sports guys or like hosts or whatever, and they're like, oh, this guy's the shit, he's the new guy on the block, and it's Shaquille O'Neal being like, oh, this man, he's hot shit, he's all man, he's doing things, he's coming up, he's real good. Like everybody, there's fucking countless people saying shit like that. But that's every movie. It's not just this. So like you'll get like, Anderson Cooper. You'll see him in a movie just being like, well, yeah, we're at the scene right now. I just hate shit like that. I don't know. It's just me. I just can't stand that.
It's people who are used to having talking points but being able to improvise, and then they're given scripts to follow.
It's just so fake because they're like, wow, this guy's the next best thing, huh? What do you think? I don't know, man.
And they know it's not real, too. They know it's not real.
So, I mean, it's that's the biggest flaw I really had with this. And there was a good chunk of it because they're trying to advertise this guy out there and get him to be known so he can get in the NBA. But other than that, I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie way more than I thought I would.
Same.
And I really don't have any real issues with it other than what I had just said, honestly.
It had one of the best training montages I've ever seen. There are two training montages that come to mind, not like Rocky or anything, because Rocky kind of while I love the Rocky movies, their training montages are very cliche. They created the cliche, but there's a lot of fanfare and a lot of build-up and everything. 2 movies have great, quiet, but powerful training montages that I can think of. This and Southpaw with Jake Gyllenhaal. They training montages that last a good 5-10 minutes. I don't know the exact time, but a long time. And it's never really like flying high now. It's just like this, we're putting in the work. It's more tense than anything. It makes it so much more interesting.
Yeah.
Than just like 2 guys hugging and jumping on a beach. Another Rocky training montage. Again, love the Rocky movies, but their training montages are very corny. So it makes it more realistic and makes the stakes feel higher.
Yes, sir.
And I really loved that. I loved seeing Southeast Pennsylvania in general. You know, the Coatesville, Philly. They mentioned like a bunch of places like Altoona, other places that I can't remember. But there's a lot of Pennsylvania references that I'm like, hey, it's the Leonardo DiCaprio meme. I was pleasantly surprised with it. I really enjoyed it.
Ben Foster's great, but he's got a comically bald head.
Yes.
And I love seeing Robert Duvall still in stuff. I'm glad he can still just hustle up for a hot minute and be like, all right.
Yeah, I only have one more thing to say, and that is there is nothing more accurate in this movie than a Philly sports team's management being handed gold and not taking it.
Yeah.
Because that happens all the time with Philly sports. It's very frustrating to be a Philly sports fan because they either trade too early or they pass on someone they shouldn't have, and that happens in this. And when that happened, I'm like, you fucking idiots. You, all the time. Even in movies, you can't get it right.
Rating.
What would you rate this?
We actually gave it the same thing, so you want to jinx it?
Sure. 1, 2, 3. 3.5. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Jinx, you owe me a soda.
Oh, no problem.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Overall,
definitely.
way better than I thought it was going to be.
Same exact emotion coming out of my body as what his was just.
Yeah.
Way better than I thought. Just a solid sports movie altogether. Adam Sandler loves basketball, and he really shows it in this movie. Period.
Adam Sandler is always better when he has fun with the over-the-top movies, but when he's doing like a down-to-earth movie like this, Rain Over Me,
Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems kind of crazy, but it's crazy in a
crazy,
good way.
but like,
When it's not like a outlandish comedy, that's when he's always at his best. And I hope he continues to do more of these kinds of movies.
So yeah.
This song's so corny.
That's terrible.
Bye.